Fenton and I'm an aeromodeller and an engineer. Join me on a fascinating journey where I show you some of the techniques used in scale aeromodelling. Hello again modellers. I just thought I'd show you this little quick thing that I'd found on one of the American modelling sites, and I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I wonder if my plotter cutter can do it. And what the guy had done in the States, and I'll add his name as a caption in a minute. He was on the National Association of Scale Aeromodelers in America. And what he'd done is he'd managed to get hold of a file that was a zigzag pattern and sent it to his cutter plotter. So I thought, I could do that. Anyway, I used Illustrator, as you'll see. Here we have Adobe Illustrator. I've got quite an old version, CS2, so some of the new modern features I haven't got, but it doesn't really matter too much. So what you can see here is my artboard with the various tools, and what I've done is I've drawn some zigzags. Now if you were doing this and when I do it for real and not just a test, then I'll Control C, cut this lot, Control V, and create another group, put them alongside, get the spacing about how I need them, then do another lot until I fill up the whole carrier sheet sort of size. And this bed is, let's have a look, document setup. So this bed is 297 by 600, so it's about A4 wide by 600 long, so it's a good size. And what I'll probably do is I'll extend these to be all the way to the top, because that's how big my carrier is, as you'll see later. But there you go, that's how it is in Illustrator. If you've not got Illustrator, then this is all a bit redundant really, but there may be other packages you can use to draw these in. With this version of Illustrator and with my Robocraft plotter printer, and then I basically just send it. It brings up another driver, usually. The printer's not plugged in, so it's not going to work. It brings up another driver, and away it goes. I'm not sure if you can see what my poor plotter is doing, but it's marching up and down this carrier with some Solatex photo mounted onto it, and it's cutting pink tapes, or pinked tapes. Now normally when you buy these from Gary Sibbett, if you could still get it, which was Pinkit in the States, or from Mick Reeves where they do pinked tape, you're limited to the scales that they offer you, and I've found in the past that the scales have not really been very accurate. So what I thought I'd do is see if I could draw the zigzag pattern in Illustrator and then send it to my plotter cutter, and it seems to be working quite well. I've done a test piece and that worked extremely well. I'm just a bit worried that I'm going to absolutely knacker my blade, and that this won't last very long, especially as I'm only cutting sort of 18 inches strips at a time. This is around 6th scale that I'm doing, which normally I can't do anything because the Mick Reeves 1/6 scale is much too big. Anyway, let's let this finish, and then I'll see if they actually come off the transport paper. They've all been through the plotter, so let's see what happened. Well, first of all, I'll tell you how I did it. So this is just photo paper, just glossy photo paper. In fact, there's still an image of my Ostra on the other side of it, but the other side is the back. So what I've used is the front, which is the bit that you usually print on. Usually, I've made an error with that one. Usually you print on. So what I used was Spray Mount, which is a 3M product, and it allows you to reposition things. So it's not a permanent adhesive, it's just a temporary adhesive. So I used that on the shiny surface of the paper. What you've got to remember with this stuff is the glue sticks to the surface you spray it to. So if I had sprayed the Solatex or the Aura cover then the glue would remain on the Oro cover, and we don't want that. You want the glue to remain on what I would call your backing or your carrier. Okay, and that's what I'm using the photo paper for, as a carrier, just as a stiff carrier that's A4 wide and can be quite long. And in fact, you can go really long if you can find a big enough carrier. And that's what I'll try and do, is try and find something a bit bigger. So spray mount onto the photo, let it dry for a couple of minutes. Then I took my Solatex, which it could be Orotex, whatever, but it has to be a sized material, i.e. the weave has to have been filled. So there's no point in trying coverall or something like that. You need something that is what they call sized. Then I peeled the protective layer off, and then because this was tacky, I was able to just stick it down, and as you can see, it's now attached. It's attached well enough that it'll go through the printer and come out the other side, and you can then peel it off again, and you can reuse your carrier. Let's see what we can see. What I'm going to do is cut a line along here, but not go through my carrier if I can avoid it, because I don't want to ruin it. And then it goes to there, because you can't really see it, but I can. And then if we just lift one of these, you should be able to see what we've got. And there. Now it went over a ridge there, so I wouldn't have been surprised if that hadn't have worked. But lo and behold, it has. And because I repeated the pattern, there should be another one right next to it. But this one was a little bit wider. Okay, and then this one back to the same width as the first one, because it was a pair of lines cut and paste. So there's that one. And I think there might be one more. There again. Maybe not. Let's have a look. Can't remember how many you cut. Oh yeah, one more. Even narrower. So you see, I can set the width depending on the artwork. I'm actually doing myself an injustice here. I did indeed do several. And there was a really wide one, just to see if I could do it. So if you were doing a leading edge or something like that of the tailplane. Now these could be bigger. I've done them at 1/6 scale, which is the smallest I tend to use. I don't think rib tapes are really very visible on anything. And there you go. Loads of rib tapes with the iron-on adhesive on one side ready to go. I think you'll agree, if you've got a cutter plotter, that is brilliant. There's no news on the Oster. The maiden of that has been delayed because of weather and getting hold of somebody to give me a hand. But hopefully tomorrow morning we might have another go at getting the Oster flying. But at the moment the British Nationals, Scale Nationals, are on the horizon. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. And I'm actually going to fly spinach on it in the competition. So I've done some scale documentations. So spinach is going to have a go at the British Nationals. That should be interesting. All right, that's it for now.